Good morning. It's so good to see everybody here. Thank you for coming out on this cold day. I know it isn't always easy to navigate the streets. And to all of you people streaming in, we welcome you here. We have some people that stream as far away as Australia, and they're scattered all over the United States. So it's nice to see everybody here. Is your name Maddie? Are you on Facebook? Did you friend me this week? Are you from Utah?
Yes.
You are.
I came here.
What's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan, what's last name?
Scott.
You in relation to Tom Scott?
Indeed. It's my father.
Oh, right here. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. There's a saying, be careful what you wish for because you might get it. And nothing proves this more than an illustration about a couple. They got married when they were 35 years old each. They were married for 30 years, and they decided to celebrate by taking a vacation to a Caribbean resort. So one moonlit night, they're walking down the beach hand in hand, and a bottle had washed up on shore. They stop, they pick up the bottle. The man looks it over. He takes out the cork that's on top of the bottle, and a huge mist comes out, and a genie appears. The genie says, I'm going to give you one wish each. The woman immediately responded, I've always wanted a big diamond ring. That's my wish. And just like that, she got a big diamond ring on her finger. The man was a little bit more hesitant. He thought, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. It'll never happen again. So he whispered to the genie, they're both 65 at this point, I'd like a woman 30 years younger than me. And just like that, the man was 95 years old. Okay. This is the third part. Actually, it's the second part, but we're doing it as a third part because I missed last week. But anyway, it's on our series called How Then Shall We Live? And today the question before us is, what do I love? It is a good question. Now, love, in its proper definition, is defined as an emotion, but it has many different aspects to it, many different levels of emotion within love. So it's very hard to pin down which love you're talking about. In the Bible, there are 4 different kinds of love. The first is eros, which is a romantic, intimate love. The second is George, which is a deep family bonding love, like a parent for a child or something. The third is philia, which is the deep friendship love that happens between many people. And the fourth is called agape. And in the Bible, agape is the greatest love of all because it is a love of God. Now, in unity, we believe that God is it all. God is in you, God is in me, God is the grand creator of all that is, and God is in and all around everything. So when it comes to agape, to love God is to love it all people, all things. Now that seems like kind of a tall order to me, to love all people and all things. Is that even possible? Is it achievable? Or is it just one of those religious dogmatic goals that is thrown out there that we can never achieve, and therefore it just verifies that we're unworthy in the eyes of God and sinful by nature? The answer to those questions are yes, it is possible. Yes, it is achievable. Yes, you can do it, and it's easier than you think. Now, to talk about love, first I must distinguish between like and love. 2 totally different things. We live in a universe that is infinitely diverse. So many different things and different people and different choices to make. And it is okay, it is not a sin, it is not a spiritual error to not like something or to not like a person. That's okay. You don't have to like everybody and everything. We all have our personal preferences. I have my dislikes. There's a lot of things I don't like. One of them is rutabagas. I have never, ever liked rutabagas. As a child, they were served up on our plate, came from a German background, and they were very popular during the Great Depression because primarily they were used for pig food up until that point. Then people started bringing them onto the kitchen table. I did not like rutabagas, but we had this rule: you eat everything on your plate or you don't leave the table, and the rutabagas were there. I can remember waking up in the morning still being at the dining room table because every time I tried to take a small bite of a rutabaga, I would gag. It literally made me sick. So then, what do? I love rutabagas. I dislike them, but I love them. And in order to love them, I had to figure out how they fit into my life so that I can love them. And the way they fit in my life is very simple. Not on my plate, not in my mouth, but I can admire them from afar. Rutabagas are really beautiful. They have a kind of a purple, creamy color. They come in all sorts of different shapes. Now, I find people to be a lot like rutabagas, some people. They are hard to like. I do not like the obstinate people. I do not like the belligerent people. I do not like the bullies. I do not like the insensitive people, the disrespectful people. So what I have to do in order to love these people, I have to find out where they fit in my life. And just like the rutabaga, it's to gaze upon them from a distance. And I get along perfectly fine with them. I just can't have them up close into my personal space. So to love all people and to love all things is an agape love. An agape love consists of 4 different aspects. And these are aspects that everybody in here has, everybody in here can express. The first is kindness. I don't have to like anybody, but if I'm going to love them, I have to be kind to them. And it's much easier to be kind than it is not to be kind. As a matter of fact, being kind to people actually makes us happy. And there's a reason for that. There's a little part in the back of the brain that has what they call A cells. And these A cells, when we're engaging in loving thoughts, emit a dopamine, which is a natural upper, and it spreads throughout the entire brain, and it makes us happy. Loving makes us happy. Now think about this for a second. We have something within us, kindness, which can generate happiness anytime we want. It's simply being kind to other people just as we expect them to be kind to us. Some of you have heard me tell this story before, but it's so touching, I'm going to tell it again. And it has to do with the Special Olympics that took place in Seattle. There were 9 kids, all mentally or handicapped challenged, lined up at the starting line to run the 100-yard dash. The gun goes off, every one of them takes off, putting forth their greatest effort to win the race. But then one little boy stumbles, falls, and gets hurt. The other 8 hear him cry out, they slow down and they look back, and they stop, and they go back to the little boy. One little girl, Down syndrome, ran over and kissed him and said, "This will make things better." All 8 of them helped the one boy up. They locked arms, and together they walked to the finish line. All of them in first place. All of them got a trophy. The crowd cheered them on, and it was one of those things where kindness is so simple. It is so needed at times, and it is so exhilarating to see it in action. Kindness is the first. The second aspect of agape love is compassion. And compassion means treating other people the way you want to be treated. It means when other people are suffering and when they're having a difficult time, you identify with it, you empathize with them. You treat them like it would be yourself. You're willing to walk through the valley of the shadows with them arm in arm while they're going through this most difficult period. Compassion. Now, the staff here at Unity Temple is drawn on almost daily, especially this time of the year, to utilize our compassion. We have people that come in here through the week. Some are homeless, some are drunk, some are off their medication, some are on some sort of a medication, and sometimes they can get a little bit unruly. It's difficult to look at these poor souls and to reach out and to embrace them. In the past, they'd come in, they could sit, they could go to the restroom, and then come back and go out after they warmed up. But we discovered that some of them would go to the restroom and they would never come back. They would start roaming the halls, upstairs and downstairs. Some of them would hide out and would find them sleeping in the place the next morning. And this became even more precarious because we have a grade school downstairs and a daycare and a infant place. So we had to institute policies of safety first. And that meant if somebody comes in, they can sit in the lobby for 15 minutes, but they can't go outside the lobby. They can't use the restroom. Janet May started the Helping Hands ministry of the church, which is a huge inventory of different things that can make their lives a little bit more comfortable, such as food or warm clothing or gloves or hats. If it's a cold day like this and their 15 minutes is up, we can give them an Uber to go down to one of the shelters downtown, and where they have a warm bed, they have a hot meal, and they have the facility to house them for a certain period of time. But they have one rule and one rule only, and that's the one that everybody here follows, and that is you have to be nice. You have to be kind. Don't yell, don't scream, don't attack other people. Just sit and warm yourselves up. Let us know what we can do for you, and we'll help you move on to a place that is much better than Unity Temple during the circumstances. There's compassion. Compassion is something that we all need at one point or another. And the third is joy. Now, happiness comes from sources outside of ourselves. The situations and circumstances in our life. People make us happy. Food makes us happy. Clothing makes us happy. Food makes us happy. Nature makes us happy. Food makes us happy. We love our food. It makes us happy. So happiness comes from all those things around us that allow us to feel happy. Joy, on the other hand, is a state of being. It comes from inside of us. And it is not dependent upon anything, any situation, any circumstance to be there. It's just this joy to be alive. This joy to be the person that you are. This joy to be right here, right now. And instead of searching the world over, trying to find something that will make us happy, and the happiness wears out sooner or later, with joy, we take that same feeling, but we express it outside, and it blesses everything and everybody. Joy. The last one is inclusiveness, equanimity. When we talk about agape love, we don't have boundaries. There's no, yes, these people are nice, I'm taking them in, but the other people aren't, so I'm going to exclude them. It's embracing everybody as God is it all. We love it all people and all things. Now, that is sometimes hard to do. It's how do I treat equal? How do I love the despicable? How do I love the abusive? How do I love the unlovable? Very difficult. Well, I don't have to move in with them. I don't have to hang out with them, but I can be kind, and I can be compassionate, and I can have a sense of joy about me that allows it to go over to them. But it is one world we live in. It is one existence that we live in. All people are creations of God, and it is our spiritual responsibility to love God and love it all. Hubert Humphrey, who was the vice president, when he died, they had a big funeral. Dignitaries from all over the world and all over the country came to his funeral, including Richard Nixon, a former president who had left the presidency in the midst of a scandal. He was shamed. He was not looked on as somebody that anybody wanted to associate with. He came to the funeral. As he walked down the aisles, eyes would divert from him because they didn't want to establish contact. He would go up to somebody and try to start a conversation that was cut short because they had to go meet somebody else. So Jimmy Carter came in to the funeral. He was president at that time. He came in and he noticed Richard Nixon standing over by the side all by himself. So he told his escort to stop. I need to go see President Nixon. He went over, held his hand out with a warm smile, and says, "Welcome, Mr. President. Welcome back to Washington." They talked for a little bit, and Jimmy Carter said, "Please come. I want you to sit with me." Now, just like that, he totally changed Richard Nixon's life. Whether he deserved it or not, that's up for debate. But he made a difference just by including him in something. Now, as we go through our life and we begin to quicken our minds, quicken our awareness on these four things, on kindness and compassion and joy and inclusivity or equanimity, we begin to discover things and opportunities all around where we can express these four components of love. There's always someone out there that needs love. There's always somebody out there that just could use a little touch of kindness. I was at the grocery store the other day, and the store manager came up to the clerk and kind of scolded her because she didn't know how to put the paper in the cash register right. What she needed at that time was compassion, and she needed kindness. And a few simple words were, I never could get those things in myself. And we laughed. I said, next time, let's see if he can do it. And we laughed. Turn things around. The opportunities are plentiful everywhere and every place to do that. Matter of fact, that is the purpose for our being here. That is the reason we're alive. I believe that when we come into this world, we have one spiritual agreement that is very, very easy, and that is for us to make the world a better place because of us. When each of us goes in the final moments and we look back in our life, the one question that we have to answer is, was the world better off because of me? Or wasn't it? It's a very sad exit from this earth if we look back and think, no, I didn't use what I had to make the world a better place. So as we think about that, as we go into meditation, please know that there's not a single person in here that doesn't have kindness, compassion, joy, and inclusivity. There's not a single person in here that has a diminished supply of those four components of agape love. There's not a single person in here that is handicapped in some way where you can't express what you have. We've all got it. The world needs it. And all we have to do is allow our inner heart, our inner being, to be the guide and the direction for what we put out into the world. We'll now move into meditation.